We are in Stillwater, Oklahoma, whereas the Cowgirls are in Manhattan, Kansas. A nice purple wall. Kind of feels like we're in Manhattan, Kansas, but we're not. We're in Stillwater, covering the Cowgirls' 69-55 victory over the Kansas State Wildcats. Guys, 69-55, competitive game all throughout until the big run, 15-0 run at the end of the game.
I thought this game was a lot different than what the final score looks like. I think for the most part, 3/4 of this game were just atrocious. And I think everybody just kind of wanted a refresh and a reset. And it looked like that fourth quarter, the Cowgirls really did reset their offense, figure themselves out. I mean, that 15-0 run, I mean, it just goes to show that was basically the story of the game.
I mean, I completely agree because, I mean, if you look at the start of the third quarter, the Cowgirls were struggling tremendously. And kind of Jamie Asbury and Natasha Mack kind of surging that run in the fourth quarter really helped them. I mean, Asbury drained 4 threes, and ultimately she had a bad game, or not the best game in the first 3 quarters, but her performance in the fourth quarter, she surged that run and ultimately helped her team get the win.
And that's one of the things Coach hit on in the postgame press conference, is he said, in the past, Asbury's let that one quarter or one half that she didn't play well kind of define the entire game. And it kind of looked to be headed that way until she just like buried 3 threes, big time shots that really did more than just score. They helped the Cowgirls like get momentum back and continue, thinking they could win this game, get a big time road win. Natasha Mack wasn't that great offensive. I mean, I say not that great, she had 14 points, but she was, I guess, rather inefficient, had 19 rebounds, and the Cowgirls just dominated the offensive glass today.
Yeah, and another player that I think deserves a shout out from this game is Nefertali Natoydak. I mean, she played probably the most minutes, I would assume, the most minutes she's played all season long, and she certainly looked more comfortable than I think we've seen this season. And I mean, she made some big-time plays. I think she ended with 8 points, but they were pretty important points that she made. And I think, just to see that you can have somebody come off the bench that you haven't really seen a whole lot of production from earlier this year, and then to see how she played today, I think it's a really good sign that this Cowgirls team has a lot of players that they can put on the floor anytime they want.
I completely agree. And another player that we need to touch on her game was Taylon Collins. I mean, she brought the energy. She was all over the offensive glass. She had multiple putbacks. I mean, those type of plays are what shift the momentum your way. I mean, if it's a shot up, it's a miss, and say Kansas State pulls some of those rebounds, this could be a totally different game. But I mean, with those putbacks, I mean, it takes points that could be going the other way and gives them to yourself.
The Cowgirls have all season been looking for that third player, guys. And tonight we saw performance from Natoa, who had been a starter, been a contributor. Kind of saw her minutes weighing off a little bit, looked a little shaky out there. She was great tonight, and as Noah said, Taylon Collins filling that third role behind Asbury and Mack as the 2 main engines on this Cowgirl team. Guys, good game for the Cowgirls. They get back on track after a 3-game slide. What are kind of your thoughts on the way this team is headed?
I think it's promising to this point. I mean, this was a game I think the Cowgirls expected to win. And if you're a top half team in the Big 12, you're expecting to win this game. And I think just from what they showed today, they can play 3 not so great quarters and 1 great quarter and still get the result and still get the job done. I think the only thing you can really look at this game and take away is just encouragement. This team is still going to be competitive no matter what the circumstances.
Jacob, I agree with you, but as we were sitting here in the O'Colly newsroom for the first 3 quarters, we got a little bit worried at that halfway point of the third quarter, and we were going to say, are the Cowgirls going to drop their 4th straight conference game? And that obviously didn't happen, and things would be a lot different right now if they were to drop this game. And I think the conversations we would have obviously would be a lot different. Our mood would be a lot different, but that's not the case. And this big win obviously improves them. Is that 6-3 on the year, 6-3 in conference play, and that's a big win for them.
Well, guys, we're in Stillwater, like we said. Couldn't even tell with this beautiful framing. It feels like we're in Manhattan. Cowgirls are gonna feel good going back home after their 69-55 victory. For Ben Hutchens, Jacob Sturm, Noah Weber, and Sam Hutchins behind the camera. This is the O'Colly Coup, bringing you women's basketball coverage all season long. Thanks for joining us.